Hello, everybody. My name is Dee, and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today, I'm just going to give you my weekly update. I wasn't able to film on Friday, so I thought since I have a chance today, I'll just do it today. So I'll just tell you about the books that I finished the past week and a half and the books that I'm currently reading. But let me just get started. So the first book that I finished this week, actually very early in last week rather, was Anne of Cleve by Alison Weir. I buddy read this with Candace over at Beacon Hill Books, and I loved it. I took a little bit of time, a couple of days afterwards, kind of reflecting on everything. The story took a turn in which I didn't expect. This was historical fiction, so there is the premise that there is going to be fictional elements to the story. But Alison Weir, for the most part, sticks to a lot of facts in her books. But Anne of Cleve was the fourth wife of Henry VIII, and not much is known about her. Therefore, there had to be a lot more fiction in the story to make up the entirety of a book, since not much is known about her life before marrying Henry and after divorcing Henry. Anne of Cleves was only married to him for a few months. What we know of her is just very little, and you just know little bits and pieces here and there from people, from letters that are still around to this day from that time period. So it was really enjoyable. Alison Weir is an excellent writer, an excellent storyteller. You just get lost in her stories, or at least I do. I get lost in her stories. I think the way she took, or her imaginings of Anne of Cleve might be a little controversial. She even says that in her author's note in the back. But, upon reflecting on the story, I just really don't find fault with it. So we finished that early in the week. The next book that I finished, and I spoke about this a little bit last week, was Becoming by Michelle Obama. This is her, memoir. It's her book, just where she kind of recounts her childhood, her life, her relationship with Barack Obama, and of course the White House years. I listened to this on an audiobook. It was read by her. I really enjoyed that. And it's just, I just really admire her as a person. So I won't really get into this book because I know politics is a touchy subject, and I don't want to get into it that much, but I really enjoyed that book as well. And the third book that I finished this past week was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a book that you might have heard about. It's very popular on BookTube. A lot of people have read it. I'm kind of late to the game in reading it. This is a story centered around the Greek gods and the son of Achilles. Achilles is the son of the sea nymph, or the sea goddess, Thetis, and a mortal king. So he's half mortal, half god. And it just recounts, the story of his upbringing as the son of a king and god, his relationship with his companion, and the war with Troy. So, if you've read the Iliad, you kind of get a sense of this book. I really loved it. I really got lost in the story. If you like anything having to do with Greek gods, it's part fantasy, part part historical. I think that you would really like this book. I have been wanting to read it ever since I heard such good reviews, and I know that can be misleading sometimes. The hype can put you off, but it didn't put me off. I was happy to get to this book finally. I tried listening to it on an audio at first, and that just didn't work for me, so I wound up reading an ebook instead, and it was that was much better for me. I was able to digest it much more. I didn't particularly like the narrator of the audio. audiobooks are great, and I've really become a fan of audiobooks, but it heavily depends on the narrator, I think, and um, how you feel about the way it's narrated, and also the voice itself. So I really enjoyed the Song of Achilles, and yeah. So those were the three books that I finished last week. Currently, I'm in the middle of reading The Queen of Tearling by Erika Johansen. Queen of the Tearling is a fantasy trilogy. I read this book a few years ago when it first came out, and then I never really continued on with it to read the second and third book, and they're all out now. I just remember that I really enjoyed this. So this follows a young girl named Kelsey. She is the queen of the Tearling. She's been hidden away during her childhood and brought up by two people basically in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knew where she was except for, a couple of people at court. And she was kept there until she was 19, because at 19 you can take control and ascend, you know, become queen, be on the throne. Through these years, her regent, her uncle, has been ruling the Tearling, the kingdom, and he is ruthless. So Kelsey is in great danger. She's going to the Tearling to assume her rightful place as queen, and she's accompanied by, a guard of men, and it's just that she is in great danger. A lot of people want her dead. A lot of people don't want her to ascend the throne. They want the power for themselves. Her uncle being one of them, and also the Red Queen, who is the ruler and queen of the neighboring country. This book is full of evil, sorceresses, magic, and I'm not that far. I mean, I'm 200 pages in the book, so I shouldn't say I'm not that far, because I am quite far. But you get a sense that there's going to be an epic battle ahead between her kingdom and the kingdom of the Red Queen, who is truly evil. And yeah, so I'm really excited. I remember really loving this book. I just don't remember a whole lot of details. And I'm excited to finish this and then go on to the second book, which is Invasion of the Tearlings. So we'll have to see, but I'm really glad that I picked this up again. I've been wanting to for a while. It's just that, other books get in the way. So what can you do? But I'm really excited to get to this one. The next book that I'll be starting, not today, but on Wednesday, will be a buddy read, and that will be David Mitchell's A Thousand Autumns of Jacob de Zoet, or Jacob de Zoet. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce this, but I've heard people pronounce it both ways, so I'll have to see. I'll have to Google a phonetic spelling or something of this so I know how to pronounce it, but Jacob de Zoet. And this is a book that will tick off a box for reading through the ages, which is a year-long historical fiction bingo card. And I'll be reading this with Candace of Beacon Hill Books and Shaun of On the Stoop. And it says, and this will be historical fiction of Japan. And it says, the year is 1799. The place Dejima in Nagasaki Harbor, the Japanese Empire's single port and sole window into the world, designed to keep the West at bay. To this place of devious merchants, deceitful interpreters, and costly courtesans, named Jacob de Zoet, a devout young clerk who has 5 years in the East to earn a fortune of sufficient size to win the hand of his wealthy fiancée back in Holland. But his intentions are eclipsed after a chance encounter with a disfigured midwife to the city's powerful magistrate. The borders between propriety, profit, and pleasure blur until Jacob finds his vision clouded, one rash promise made, and then fatefully broken, the consequences of which will extend beyond Jacob's worst imaginings. So I don't know if that gives you any sense of what this book is about. I just know that it's highly acclaimed, and I really even don't really get a sense of what it's about based on the back. But it should be interesting, and hopefully I really enjoy it. We're going to start it on Wednesday. We're going to read about 50 pages a day, so it'll probably take us, and this book is, oh, it's only 455 pages. It feels so much thicker than that. But so based on that, it should take us a week and a half about to read. I know that Shaun already parsed it out, so we'll have to see. But it's about 50 pages a day, and I hope to really enjoy this. So I'm not sure what else I'm going to pick up during the week. Those are the two that I'm definitely concentrating on, and if I pick something else up, I'll definitely let you know next week. But that is really what I'm currently going to be reading, what I've read. Like I said in the beginning, I hope you all had a lovely or have a lovely week ahead since it's Monday, or when I'm filming this, it's Monday. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it up today or tomorrow, but and I hope you all had a lovely weekend and enjoy the sunshine. I don't know about where you are, but by me, it's like 77 degrees and sunny. I mean, the clouds come out every once in a while, but for the most part, it's sunny. And yeah, I just, oh, all the windows are open and it's just lovely, lovely. I love to get the fresh air in on these warm days, and it's a sign that spring is coming. So you never know. So I hope it's warm where you are, and I will see you all very, very soon.